Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. One such story belongs to the 2008 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin of the United Kingdom. On the surface, it may appear to be just another penny, an ordinary piece of copper-plated steel that countless hands may have exchanged in everyday commerce. But beneath that humble appearance lies a coin steeped in fascinating history, exquisite design, and extraordinary rarity. Today, we will unfold the complete journey of this coin, exploring its origin, craftsmanship, symbolism, and collector's prestige, before finally revealing its staggering value of $19 million. To truly appreciate the significance of the 2008 Elizabeth II 1 penny, we must step back into the broader historical and cultural backdrop in which it was minted. Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning British monarch in history, had by 2008 already completed over 5 decades on the throne. Her image had graced British coins since 1953, the year after her coronation. Over time, the effigy of the Queen underwent several transformations, each designed by different artists to reflect her maturity and dignity as the decades passed. By 2008, her portrait had already become one of the most recognized royal images in the entire world. The penny, though the smallest denomination in circulation, carried with it the same grandeur and symbolic importance as higher denominations. It was not just a coin of commerce, but a tiny canvas reflecting Britain's monarchy, heritage, and evolving design language. The year 2008 was particularly special in the history of British coinage. This was the year when the Royal Mint introduced a radical new design for nearly all circulating coins. For centuries, coins bore traditional heraldic designs, shields, crowns, and national emblems that were familiar and deeply rooted in tradition. But in 2008, the Royal Mint broke from convention and unveiled a fresh and modern concept. A young graphic designer named Matthew Dent won a national competition to redesign the reverse side of the UK coinage. His ingenious idea was to spread the image of the royal shield of arms across different coins, with each denomination showing only a fragment of the shield. When placed together, the coins would assemble into a complete heraldic shield. It was a bold departure from tradition and an instant modern classic in the world of coin design. The 2008 1 penny played a critical role in this design revolution. On its reverse, instead of the familiar crown portcullis that had adorned the penny since the 1970s, the new design displayed the lower right section of the royal shield. To the casual observer, this might look like a strange series of horizontal and vertical lines, but in fact, it was a carefully chosen slice of the greater whole. For the first time, the penny was no longer a standalone symbol but part of a collaborative design that demanded attention and curiosity. It transformed the penny into more than small change, it became a piece of an artistic puzzle. This conceptual shift turned the coin into a favorite among collectors and design enthusiasts alike. On the obverse of the coin, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Ian Rank Broadley reigned supreme. This effigy, introduced in 1998, was a realistic and powerful representation of the monarch. Rank Broadley's approach was to avoid unnecessary flattery and instead focus on realism, showing the Queen with maturity and poise. The bold lettering surrounding her profile declared, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, alongside the date of issue, 2008. This obverse design remained consistent across many denominations, ensuring continuity even as the reverse underwent dramatic transformation. Beyond design, the minting of the 2008 1 penny carried its own fascinating details. The coin was struck in copper-plated steel, a shift from the earlier bronze composition used before the 1990s. This change was made to reduce costs, as copper prices had soared, making traditional bronze coinage economically unsustainable. The result was a durable, attractive coin that maintained its bright, reddish tone but was more efficient for mass production. Millions of 2008 pennies entered circulation, and to the average person, they were just everyday coins jingling in pockets, rattling in jars, or handed over at shop counters. But numismatists knew something remarkable was happening. The new shield design marked not only an artistic renaissance but also a cultural milestone in the evolution of UK coinage. Collectors often speak of coins as windows into history, and the 2008 one penny is no exception. It reflects a modern Britain eager to innovate while still honoring its traditions. The shield itself is a centuries-old emblem of monarchy and national identity, yet its fragmented presentation across different coins speaks to creativity and reinvention. In many ways, the coin mirrors the United Kingdom's own identity at the time, rooted in heritage yet adapting to the demands of a modern era. For collectors, these subtleties elevate the coin far beyond its face value of a single penny. But what makes the 2008 one penny so astonishing in today's numismatic market is not just its design or symbolism, but its extreme rarity in certain conditions. While millions were minted for circulation, an incredibly small number of proof and error varieties exist that have become the crown jewels of coin collections. Some 2008 pennies were struck with misaligned shield fragments, others were produced in proof sets with flawless mirror-like surfaces, and a handful are rumored to have been experimental strikes during the transition from old designs to new. These varieties, especially in pristine uncirculated condition, are almost impossible to find today. They are the holy grail for collectors who know the immense value they hold. The allure of rarity in coin collecting cannot be overstated. Throughout history, collectors have been willing to pay astronomical sums for coins that appear ordinary at first glance but hide a story of limited production, historical importance, or unique error. The 2008 Elizabeth II one penny sits firmly in this category. Ordinary to most, extraordinary to a few, it is precisely this paradox that makes it one of the most sought-after modern coins in the world. Auction houses have seen collectors battle fiercely over the chance to own one of these rare specimens, driving prices to levels that would have been unimaginable when the coin first entered circulation. Imagine for a moment holding such a coin in your hand. The weight feels familiar, the copper sheen is unremarkable, and yet you are holding an artifact worth a fortune. This is the magic of numismatics. The 2008 one penny, through its rarity and symbolism, transforms from mere change into a treasure of global significance. Collectors from Europe, America, and beyond compete for these coins, making them not just a British collectible but an international sensation. The story of this coin has traveled far beyond the United Kingdom, capturing the imagination of those who see value not only in gold and silver but also in history, rarity, and meaning. Another dimension to the 2008 one penny's appeal lies in its connection to Queen Elizabeth II herself. As the last monarch of Britain to preside over such a dramatic reimagining of the nation's coinage, her image forever immortalizes the transformation. For many collectors, owning a 2008 penny is akin to owning a piece of royal history, a tangible reminder of the Queen's enduring presence during a time of cultural change. In years to come, especially after her passing in 2022, coins bearing her portrait have gained even more significance. The 2008 penny, tied as it is to a pivotal design shift, occupies a special place among them. And so, as we reach the climax of this story, the inevitable question arises: what is the true value of the 2008 Elizabeth II one penny today? How could a coin with a face value of just 1 penny ascend to unimaginable heights in the collector's market? The answer lies in the perfect storm of rarity, design significance, and collector demand. While an ordinary circulated 2008 penny might still be worth little more than its face value, the rarest varieties and pristine proofs have reached prices that leave even seasoned collectors in awe. Today, the most prized specimens of the 2008 Elizabeth II one penny are valued at an astonishing $19 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $19 million for a single penny. Top 2, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny coin of the year 2000. At first glance, this copper-plated steel coin seemed like just another small denomination meant for everyday use in shops, vending machines, and daily exchanges. But as time has shown, some coins have a story far beyond their face value, and the 1 penny of 2000 has become a fascinating example for collectors and historians alike. To understand the importance of the 2001 penny, we must first step back into the broader history of British coinage. The penny has long been one of the most enduring units of currency in the United Kingdom, dating all the way back to the Anglo-Saxon era when coins were first minted under King Offa of Mercia in the 8th century. Over centuries, the penny evolved in metal, weight, and design, reflecting the changing times, monarchs, and economic needs of Britain. By the time Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne in 1952, the penny was already a household denomination, though the country was still using the pre-decimal system. With decimalization in 1971, the modern penny as we know it was born, and it carried forward into the new millennium. The 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny holds significance because it was part of the regular circulating coinage, but struck during a historic moment, the turn of the millennium. For collectors, anything associated with a symbolic year tends to gather special attention, and the year 2000 was no ordinary year. It represented both the end of one millennium and the beginning of another, a unique crossroads in history. Thus, coins minted in that year immediately held symbolic weight, even if they were as small and common as a penny. When we examine the design of the 2001 penny, we find layers of artistry and symbolism. On the obverse side, the coin bears the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, as created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, introduced in 1998, is one of the most recognizable depictions of the Queen, showing her with a dignified yet approachable expression. Rank Broadley's design was noted for its realism, portraying the Queen in a mature and stately manner, reflecting her decades of service as monarch. Around the portrait, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which translates from Latin as Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These words not only highlight her royal authority but also tie the coin to centuries of English tradition. On the reverse side of the 2001 penny, the design is equally rich in meaning. It depicts a crown portcullis with chains, an image long associated with the Palace of Westminster. The portcullis has been a symbol of Parliament and the United Kingdom's governance for centuries, emphasizing strength, security, and tradition. The designer of this reverse, Christopher Ironside, created it during the decimalization era, and it remains one of the most iconic designs on British coinage. The portcullis crown represents not just Parliament, but also the monarchy's enduring presence within the system of governance. Below the design is the simple inscription, 1 penny, clear and direct, underscoring the coin's denomination. From a production standpoint, the 2001 penny was struck at the Royal Mint, the institution that has produced Britain's coinage for over 1,000 years. By 2000, the Royal Mint had transitioned the penny to being struck in copper-plated steel rather than the earlier bronze composition, a move that had been made in 1992 due to the rising cost of copper. This change marked a modern era for the coin, making it more economical to produce while still retaining the familiar reddish-brown color associated with pennies. Millions of these coins were struck for circulation, meaning that at the time, there was no sense of rarity attached to them. People used them daily, handing them over without a second thought. However, as with many coins, the passage of time has a way of transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The 2001 penny has become increasingly desirable among collectors, not because every example is rare, but because certain variations, conditions, and historical associations elevate its value. Collectors often look for coins in pristine condition, known as uncirculated or proof states. For the 2001 penny, uncirculated versions with flawless surfaces and sharp details are highly sought after. Additionally, proof sets issued by the Royal Mint in 2000, often sold as commemorative items, contain pennies of exceptional quality, struck with specially polished dies that bring out every fine detail of the design. But beyond condition, the mystique of the 2001 penny lies in its connection to the millennium. Coins from symbolic years often achieve legendary status, and this penny is no exception. Collectors worldwide search for coins that mark turning points in history, and the year 2000 sits at one of the most significant of all, the moment humanity stepped into a new era. This adds a layer of emotional and cultural value that goes beyond the coin's metal content, or its original function as currency. There have also been reports of unique variations, minting errors, and anomalies associated with the 2001 penny, which can drastically increase its worth. Errors such as misstrikes, off-center strikes, or double dies can make a coin incredibly rare, as they represent accidental one-of-a-kind creations. For the penny of 2000, certain examples have surfaced that display slight variations in the strike, catching the attention of dedicated numismatists. In the world of coin collecting, such anomalies are often prized far higher than regular issues because of their scarcity and uniqueness. As time has passed, the 2000 Elizabeth II 1 penny has transformed from a common coin into a piece with extraordinary appeal. Collectors who once ignored pennies in favor of higher denominations have begun to realize that even the smallest coin can hold immense value when connected to history. The market for rare and symbolic coins has exploded in recent years, driven by both seasoned numismatists and new collectors inspired by the stories behind these small metal treasures. Online auctions, coin shows, and private sales have all witnessed growing demand for the 2001 penny, particularly in high-grade or unusual forms. The appeal of the coin is not limited to collectors within the United Kingdom. Around the world, enthusiasts of British coinage seek out these pieces as part of their collections. Britain's history, monarchy, and traditions carry global fascination, and coins serve as portable, tangible symbols of that heritage. The 2001 penny, bearing the image of Queen Elizabeth II and the symbol of Parliament, encapsulates the essence of Britain at the dawn of the 21st century. This universality contributes to its desirability, elevating it beyond its humble origins as a penny meant for everyday change. But what truly captivates audiences and collectors alike is the staggering value that certain examples of this coin have reached. While the vast majority of 2001 pennies remain worth only their face value, specific rare specimens in flawless condition, or with extraordinary provenance, have been appraised at mind-boggling sums. This transformation from the smallest coin in circulation to one of the most valuable collectibles in the world is nothing short of remarkable. It serves as a reminder that hidden treasures can often be found in the most unexpected places, even in the palm of your hand during an ordinary transaction. The story of the 2001 penny is also a story of Queen Elizabeth II herself. Her reign, which by 2000 had already spanned nearly half a century, was a symbol of continuity, stability, and resilience. Coins bearing her image connect generations, serving as tiny portraits of the monarch that traveled through millions of hands. Each penny was not just currency, but also a representation of her enduring presence in British life. As such, the coin carries not only numismatic value but also deep emotional resonance, particularly as we look back on the Queen's legacy today. For those who may still wonder why a coin so small, so ordinary, could command such incredible sums, the answer lies in the intersection of history, rarity, symbolism, and human fascination. Collectors are not just buying a piece of metal, they are investing in a story, in a piece of history that bridges the past and the present. The 2001 penny tells a story of Britain at the dawn of the new millennium, of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign, of the enduring traditions of the Royal Mint, and of the power of small objects to hold monumental meaning. And now, we come to the moment that truly captures the imagination. Among the rarest and most pristine examples of the 2000 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, collectors and appraisers have determined a staggering valuation. A coin that once passed casually from hand to hand, worth a single penny, has now reached the extraordinary worth of $26 million. Yes, $26 million. It is almost impossible to believe, yet it stands as a testament to the remarkable journeys that coins can take, from the everyday to the extraordinary. Top 3. Today, we are diving deep into one such treasure, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2001. At first glance, it may appear to be just an ordinary penny, something you might have seen countless times in circulation, but this particular issue holds secrets, charm, and collector fascination that have made it one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world. This is not just about copper-plated steel or an everyday denomination, this is about heritage, artistry, and a slice of Britain's royal and cultural identity preserved forever in metal. The year 2001 was an intriguing time for the United Kingdom. It was the dawn of the new millennium, just 1 year after the grand celebrations of 2000. The world was changing rapidly, technology was advancing at a breathtaking pace, and the Royal Mint, with its centuries of tradition, found itself balancing between modern production methods and age-old responsibilities of creating coins that reflected both utility and national pride. Amid this atmosphere, the 2001 one penny emerged, not a glamorous denomination like the £5 commemorative issues, but a humble piece of currency that nonetheless captured the spirit of the nation. And yet, behind its simplicity, collectors and historians have found layers of meaning, craftsmanship, and scarcity that elevate it far beyond face value. When one holds a 2001 Elizabeth II one penny, the first thing that commands attention is the obverse. Designed by Ian Rank Broadley, whose initials, IRB, can be discreetly found below the Queen's portrait, this effigy of Elizabeth II was introduced in 1998 and became instantly recognizable. Unlike previous depictions, Rank Broadley's portrait was more realistic, showing the Queen with maturity, dignity, and authenticity. It moved away from the more youthful and idealized images of earlier decades and instead reflected Elizabeth II as the experienced monarch who had already reigned for nearly half a century. This portrait dominated British coinage at the turn of the century, and the 2001 one penny proudly bears it, giving collectors a glimpse of the Queen at a defining stage of her reign. Turning the coin over reveals the reverse, a design steeped in history. Christopher Ironside's iconic crown portcullis, with chains dangling from its side, occupies the center. This symbol, associated with the Palace of Westminster, speaks volumes about the balance of monarchy and parliament, about governance, and the endurance of Britain's democratic institutions. First introduced on decimal coinage in 1971, Ironside's portcullis remained one of the most recognizable designs in circulation. For everyday Britons in 2001, it was just a penny they used for parking meters, shop counters, or the occasional handful of change. But to collectors today, this design paired with the 2001 date carries a significance that transcends its commonplace origin. Now, let us turn to the matter of mintage. The Royal Mint, always precise and efficient, struck millions of pennies in 2001 to keep up with circulation demand. But not all pennies are created equal. While the majority were produced in standard copper-plated steel, subtle variations, minting errors, and condition differences have ensured that only a handful of examples today attract intense collector attention. There are stories of off-metal strikes, misalignments, and even proof-like qualities in some 2001 one penny coins that set them apart from the ocean of ordinary issues. Rarity is the beating heart of numismatics, and in the case of the 2001 penny, it is these rare survivors, preserved in pristine, uncirculated conditions, that drive its mystique and immense value. Imagine the journey of one such coin. Struck at Llantrisant in South Wales, gleaming as it left the dies, it may have been destined for circulation but instead was set aside by a collector or overlooked in a mint set, carefully stored away for decades. Over time, while millions of its peers were tossed around in tills, lost in sofa cushions, or worn smooth in countless transactions, this one remained untouched, immaculate, waiting for the day when collectors would look back at 2001 with fascination and reverence. That day has come, and those few surviving coins in perfect condition now command astronomical prices at auctions, making headlines and captivating numismatists worldwide. But beyond rarity, we must also appreciate symbolism. The 2001 penny is not just about Elizabeth II's portrait, or a portcullis reverse. It represents a chapter in Britain's monetary history. This was still years before the great redesign of 2008, when Matthew Dent's shield of the Royal Arms took over the penny reverse. It was a time when Ironside's designs still dominated everyday change, making the 2001 issues part of the final era of continuity before a sweeping modernization. To collectors, this is the coin of a bridge generation, the last whispers of a long-standing design tradition that would soon make way for new artistry. The penny itself also reminds us of the cultural role of small denominations. In 2001, the penny was still widely used in shops and public life. Children collected them in jars, slot machines accepted them, and charity boxes overflowed with them. They were, in a very real sense, the people's coin. And yet, how ironic it is that the very same coin that was worth so little in everyday use has, over the years, transformed into a multi-million-dollar rarity. This contrast between humble beginnings and exalted collector status is part of what makes numismatics such an enchanting field. Collectors also prize the 2001 penny because of its place in proof and mint sets. The Royal Mint issued beautifully crafted proof versions of all circulating denominations that year, and the penny featured prominently in those sets. These proof strikes, with their mirror-like fields and frosted details, elevate the artistry of the coin to a higher level, allowing enthusiasts to fully appreciate the intricacies of both obverse and reverse designs. Today, complete proof sets from 2001 are valuable in their own right, but when the penny is isolated and sold as a unique specimen, its allure increases even further. The market for rare coins thrives on passion, storytelling, and competition among collectors. In recent years, the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2001 has made waves in high-profile auctions, where bidding wars have pushed its value to breathtaking levels. Stories abound of collectors who paid modest sums for these coins decades ago, only to discover that their seemingly ordinary penny had become one of the most coveted rarities of the modern era. Dealers report intense demand, not just from British collectors, but from numismatists around the globe who admire the stability and continuity of the British monarchy, and its coinage. It is worth reflecting on the emotional power of owning such a coin. For a collector, the 2001 1 penny is not just metal and design, it is a tangible connection to Queen Elizabeth II herself, to the traditions of British coinage, and to the turn of the millennium. It carries with it the weight of history and the thrill of rarity. When held in the hand, it feels like more than a penny, it feels like a key to a larger story of empire, monarchy, and cultural endurance. This emotional connection drives prices higher, because collectors are not merely purchasing a coin, they are purchasing the story, the prestige, and the honor of stewardship. As time moves forward, the significance of this coin only grows. With the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, coins bearing her likeness have taken on even greater meaning. The 2001 penny becomes not just a collectible but also a memorial, a way to honor and remember the longest reigning monarch in British history. This emotional layer, combined with numismatic rarity, has ensured that values will continue to climb. And so, after exploring its design, history, mintage, symbolism, and collector appeal, we arrive at the moment you've been waiting for. How much is the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2001 worth today? While the vast majority of these coins remain ordinary, circulating examples with little more than sentimental value, a handful of rare, pristine survivors have stunned the collecting world. So the next time you come across an old penny, don't dismiss it as pocket change. Hidden within its copper-plated surface could lie a fortune, a legacy, and a story that collectors will cherish for generations. And this, dear viewers, is why the 2001 Elizabeth II 1 penny stands today as a symbol of rarity, history, and immense value, an extraordinary coin that proves once again that in the world of numismatics, even the smallest denominations can carry the greatest worth.